Howdy, Ags. Welcome to Aggie Growth Hacks, the podcast sponsored by the McFerrin Center for Entrepreneurship at Texas A&M. And we're dedicated to helping entrepreneurs improve their business, connect with other Aggie entrepreneurs, and support one another. I'm your host, Greg Martin, Fighting Texas Aggie class of 2001.
And I'm your co-host, Chris Hunter, Fighting Texas Aggie class of 1998. Whoop!
Well, we got a little story for you, Ags. Grace Freitag, Fighting Texas Aggie class of 2023, is another example of entrepreneurial spirit that is alive and well in Aggie land. Grace started Expand Your Brand when she was an undergrad at Texas A&M and has continued to grow the company through grad school. Social media marketing is so powerful in today's environment, and many owners realize they need to have a social media presence, but actually crafting and executing a social media plan is so hard. But Grace has figured it out, and she's finishing up a master's degree.
So pass it back and listen up to Grace as she shares some really good bull.
Well, Grace, thank you so much for joining us. We love talking with entrepreneurs, but we super love hearing and seeing the entrepreneur spirit in Aggie land. And you are right now in grad school and running a company. Oh my gosh, Grace, I don't know when you can sleep, but thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for letting us learn about you.
Well, thank you for having me on. I'm excited to share our journey and what we've learned so far.
Well, tell us a little bit about your company. Why you formed it, obviously, when you were at A&M as an undergrad and continuing to manage it and run it in grad school. Why did you start the company, and then where is it right now?
Well, a little bit of a backstory. When I was in undergrad, I started a TikTok page, and this was just a fun platform for me to share like my college experience and lots of fashion and lifestyle content. And it grew pretty large to the point where I was able to work with like Nordstrom Rack, Neutrogena, and doing some brand deal partnerships with them. And I was also working at a law firm at the time, and they would help me read my contracts and make sure I was doing everything right. And so when they saw that I was producing this content for, these major corporations, they also asked me, well, hey, we could use some help with ours too. So then I started to move into helping other local businesses create a social platform online.
So I want to dig into that a little bit, right? So you said that you built
the marketer wants to nerd out on marketing.
Yeah, I'm going to geek out a little bit here. Yeah. So I want to dig in. You said, I grew to a decent following. What is a decent following on TikTok?
It was only around like 10,000. But my views were getting up to like 600,000, like 500,000 to 1 million views. So my reach was pretty large, and the audience was, females between the ages of 18 and 20. So for those brands, it was very ideal to do partnerships with me.
So what were you sharing, just out of curiosity? What were you like? What was your channel about? Or is it still?
We've taken a little bit of a step back because running a TikTok page it's like a side job, you're
business in itself.
Yeah, you're posting, every single day. It takes so much to make the content, edit it. So I've taken a step back and just really focused on my business, and we'll get back into the TikTok when I graduate grad school. But the original content that I was posting was during the sorority rush talk time. It was like rush talk is what they called it. So there was a lot of attention on the app towards the sorority kind of content. So showing like your outfits that you do for Rush and advice. And then it kind of moved into just showing like my home decor, and then how I manage, being a student and also having a job. And so it just kind of really flowed into anything that was college related.
So then I can understand the natural progression of the brands wanting to do a collaboration with you, and you kind of focus with that. But then you said you were working with a law firm. That seems like you're not going to say, okay, I wake up as an attorney and I immediately put on my angry face because I fight all day. So how did that translate into helping the law firm?
So when I was growing on TikTok, I was doing so much research on the algorithm and what really makes social media content perform well, whether, you're a college influencer talking about fashion, or you are a business. There are certain like foundational aspects that you can use across the board. And one thing that I think really helped when I was creating their content was helping them to show more of their personal side. So obviously it's not a morning routine or like outfit of the days, but for them, they're very involved in the community. And so kind of pushing people to share more about themselves. And I think that's great for any business. Showing your personal brand is so important because nowadays every single business is trying to market themselves on social media. So, what makes your law firm different than the one down the street or your hair salon versus another one? And it's really you as a person and as a business owner and how we can market that on individually.
So are you still focused on TikTok or have you expanded out on what you guys are helping your clients with? What other channels are you really helping with that?
Yeah, so we've expanded now. We're more on LinkedIn and Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. But majority of our clients are more on the Instagram, LinkedIn side.
So where do you focus on the shorts and the reels and those types of short form videos? Do you do long form videos? What do you usually recommend to your clients?
My primary focus is short form content, especially because after TikTok came out, a lot of, I would say specifically Instagram tried to replicate the TikTok feed. And so then they had the Reels feed. And so what makes, we'll use Instagram, for example, when you're posting photos, that goes to your followers. But when you're posting videos, it goes to the Reels feed. So you have a higher chance of a new audience seeing that content. So for that purpose, we really focus on Reels because you can get a lot of growth out of it.
So you said that you did a lot of work trying to understand the algorithm of TikTok and the different platforms. And to me, that's one of the most difficult things because they change it to keep it fresh, to do that, and to be able to keep people coming back for continuous engagement. How do you actually do that? And I mean, that's really hard. Other than, is it really just look and be like, which videos or content is going viral, and then trying to emulate that? I mean, you don't necessarily want to be a copycat, but they've obviously figured it out.
Yeah, and it's a constant state of researching what's new because what helped me go viral 2 years ago has definitely changed from now. So it's definitely noticing the changes within the platforms, definitely also focusing on what features are these apps putting out. Because a lot of times when they are putting out a new, let's say like TikTok stories, when they were pushing those, they put those out for a reason. They want people to use them. So when I always recommend if there's a new feature, use it because then the app will reward you more because you're using their new stuff. But also really reviewing the performance of our previous posts. So we do a monthly analytical review on all of our clients to see what performed well, what didn't, and then how can we pivot moving forward. We also do pay attention to the trends that are going on and really taking a step deeper of, okay, why is this a trend right now? What's going on in the world that makes people like this kind of content? And right now, it's just the personal branding is huge because there's so many businesses trying to put themselves out there. And, just talking about the product or service isn't enough. And people are really craving that human connection with people.
So do you have a framework that you typically, give to your clients? Okay, do this first, then this, in your videos. And by the way, close it like this over here or whatever. Is there a specific framework that you guys use?
Yeah. When we create monthly content calendars for our clients. If it is a post where they are speaking directly to the camera in that short form content, then we will come up with, a certain kind of script for them to follow. Now, a huge part of our brand is also we want people to be authentic. We want their brands to come across authentic. So we use those outlines as a suggestion. So you kind of follow along, like this is the structure of the video that I would follow, but please don't read off a script and make it sound natural to you.
Okay, but so I understand the needing to calendar everything out and to be able to have that, but there's also a huge amount of value in being current and relevant and what's happening immediately. If you're scripting something out 30 days in advance, how do you help your clients be spontaneous and be able to address what's going on in the news like today?
Well, on some of those calendars, we have specific spots for trends. So we'll have like specific holders for, let's say, if it's like a before and after for like a hairstylist, there's a specific day that they're going to do a before and after. And then like there may be another spot for them to do a trend when it gets closer to the date. And then we'll decide that closer to the day that the trend is implemented in the content calendar.
I talk to my clients about this a lot, pulling out this $1,000 machine, sitting in their pocket and recording with it Is that what you recommend to your clients to use?
Most often, I do recommend to just do it with your iPhone because you want to be able to blend in with the audience online. Sometimes when you do go on the really high-end video quality, depending on the brand, some brands you should be using that high of a video quality, but for others, and most of them, when you're trying to grow a personal brand for your business, I recommend using the camera because that's what, Susie, your neighbor, is using to post about her kids, So you want to be able to try and blend in when you're looking on that feed. You want people to stop on your posts. And if it screams ad from the first second you look at it, no one's going to stop and look at it. Versus if you kind of blend in with the rest of the content using the iPhone quality, there is a higher chance that someone's going to wait around a second or two to see what's going on.
If it's a little bit too polished, too glossy, then I'm gonna kind of go through it. But like you said, there are times that companies and brands want to portray that. And so do you help them with that type of content as well?
Yeah, so we also work with like other video production companies to get them, if they did want to use the higher quality, but most of mine right now, we're only doing the iPhone content.
So shifting gears a tiny bit here, is what has been the biggest challenge, with growing your social media management company?
First is just being a student and doing it at the same time. Being in grad school and trying to manage a business has, significant challenges. So I've definitely just been trying to focus on just time management in general. But just as far as the business is having people see the value in it, there's people that totally understand social media marketing and instantly see why this is a great business investment. And then there's others that just still have some hesitation towards it, which is understanding because it's still a newer style of marketing.
But the ones that get it, I mean, can you kind of define, do you have a industry niche or something that you focus on? Because I know that you obviously help lawyers. Before we started recording, you've got a great opportunity with a home builder. Is there an area that you really focus on?
Yeah, so moving forward, we're really focusing on luxury, fashion, beauty, and lifestyle brands. So we've worked with a lot of like beauty services, like hair salons, med spas. We'll be going with a luxury custom home building company to Milan for Design Week. So we have a wider range, but we're kind of more focusing now on, the fashion, beauty, and lifestyle brands.
Love that. So going back to, because I want to geek out about this stuff. What's your favorite tools? An entrepreneur is sitting there listening to this and going, okay, I want to kind of jump into this. What tools should they be using besides an iPhone?
So CapCut is a really great tool to edit your video content. A lot of the trends that you see, if you see people, how to explain it, but there's memes where say you took a video and then you put like an overlay of like a dancing person on it. Have you seen those? So a lot of those are using the CapCut features, but CapCut makes it really easy to edit, the lighting and the actual video editing. It's user friendly and it's on the phone. So that's definitely something that I would recommend to use.
So is this something that in your business you have built out? Is it just you? Like, are you the one that is engaging the clients, talking with the clients, helping with the editing, doing all the posting, or do you have people that help?
It's definitely a team effort. I'm definitely the most client-facing person in the company, but we also have another team of girls. We have a client relations manager, and we have other photographers and content creators that help out with the photo shoots and photo editing. And sometimes they'll also help me with caption writing. So it's definitely a team effort.
Well, that's cool. So is there a specific type of person that you have hired? I mean, you were in a sorority. Are these all your sorority sisters? And if so, how did you make sure that they fit in with your goals?
So actually, the very first person that I brought on to the team was our lead photographer, Reese. And I actually met her over Instagram. I was trying to figure out what photographers I was going to add to the team because I knew I couldn't do it alone when we were launching. And so I talked to some of my other friends that are also creatives and photographers, and their schedules just didn't seem to line up for my launch party. Straight away, I was like, I need to have a team of photographers. I can't just have one because we're all college students. We have busy schedules. So then I decided I probably need to look for more people. And so she recommended me Reese. She was like, I know her style is very similar to mine and the photography aspect. Like, and actually, she didn't know Reese in person either now. So she had just seen Reese's Instagram, sent it to me, and then me and Reese got coffee and hit it off. And she shot my launch party. And now me, Reese, and Natalie are all friends literally from Instagram. And then my other team members, we actually moved in together. So I was graduating from undergrad and all of my other friends were, leaving and doing the post-grad life. And Natalie, again, she recommended me Jessie. She's now one of our content creators. She's like, I think you and Jessie would be great roommates together. You're into the same things. And so we decided to live together. And then I was growing this business over the summer. And, obviously now that we're sharing a house together, they hear so much about the things that I do. And it also lined up perfectly to where we were growing. Now I know more people that can help me. And so we kind of collectively came together, and they also, Jesse and Lacey also came onto the team as well as content creators and photographers.
So one of the things that we've talked a lot of entrepreneurs this season, Grace, is attracting and finding those key employees to be able to join your team and fill it out. What's your philosophy on that? Is it, hey, here's a technical thing that I need help with, whether that's the videography, the photography, the caption writing, or is it you get to know the person and their skill sets and their beliefs, and then if they're lined up, then you bring them onto your team? Which is kind of your philosophy on how to assess that?
I think it's definitely a mixture of both, assessing what your needs are in the company, especially for anyone, in the marketing world. You're very creative. So everyone has their own style too. So not every photographer has the same style. And we definitely, all of our clients follow along that same kind of theme. So how well do they fit our brand as well with their own creative style? Because I never want to restrict a creative to feel like they have to mold into what we're doing. I want it to be a very natural addition to the team. But then also, I want our company to have good morale and us to all get along. And, we do a lot of things with clients. So I want it to be a very good synergy too. So I definitely look at both of those aspects when considering bringing someone else onto the team.
Love that. Absolutely love that. So Grace, where do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years? And where do you see, your business and just everything?
Yeah, I would say for our business, I see it being a multi-million-dollar marketing agency and working with people all over the United States. Obviously, we're already going to Italy next month. So definitely we're just going to keep expanding. And especially with the world of social media, you kind of have the whole United States at your fingertips. Like you can post a video, and I've had people, from the East Coast send me an inquiry. So really, we're at a great spot where we can really scale ourselves without having to, be anywhere physically. Of course, like if we do shoots, we'd have to fly to those places. But as far as, building out offices in different states, we don't necessarily have to do that in order to grow. So that's great. I also, want to be able to give back too. That's a really big part of our brand is, we work with a lot of female entrepreneurs, and I just want to give people the resources to be successful and just give back to the community would be just a really big goal for us.
That is awesome. I love the scalability that you have, and the fact that you are employing all these different technologies, not only to serve the platforms, but to serve the brands that you work with and the expertise. But then at the same time saying you want to give back because it's more than just dollars and cents. It's about empowering and helping and encouraging and lifting up female entrepreneurs and all your clients. So that's pretty cool. So Grace, we're in the lightning round. Real simple. You've got one rule: answer all the questions in 1 minute or less. Tell us about your favorite personal hack. They could be a book, a podcast, a mindset. What can we learn from you?
My favorite personal hack is a video that I've actually been watching for the past 9 years. It's called Unbroken on YouTube. If you look up Unbroken Motivational, it has like 40 million views. And I have religiously watched that video since the day it came out. I think my mom saw it on Facebook and sent it to me as like a little, have a great week at school. Like, here's a video. And I literally listen to that video at least once a week, a lot more than that too. every single line of that video is just so empowering, and I could probably recite the whole thing.
That's awesome. So what is your favorite business hack, book, or podcast?
My favorite business podcast is Building Billions with Natalie Dawson. She focuses a lot on how to build a team and lead a team, and just everything that you really need to know as an entrepreneur. She really does these little short segments on it, and I find it incredibly inspiring.
Grace, what is the best bit of advice that you've been given, and how have you applied it?
I would say my dad always told me whenever I had a really tough decision to make to take the emotion out of it when it comes to like my professional life. And so I really apply that to our business. You know, as an entrepreneur, you can feel so emotionally connected to it. But when you are making those really important decisions of investments, or, you know, when to add people or take people away, you know, sometimes you have to take the emotions out of it and make the right decision for your business.
Love that. So Grace, how can the Aggie Growth Hacks family get in touch with you? How can we support you and encourage you moving forward?
If y'all could follow our Instagram, it's EYB Marketing. We also have a LinkedIn and a Facebook as well. If y'all could give us a follow and engage with our stuff, that would be amazing.
Well, Grace, we definitely will do that. And Ags, if you're looking to see how it's done, then definitely connect with Grace and her team to be able to get the expertise. Social media marketing is something that I think everybody realizes they need to have, but everybody also needs to have a Grace on their team to be able to say, how can they come along and actually make you be TikTok famous or Instagram famous? But Grace, thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate it. We can't wait to see you go and conquer the world.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
Well, how about that, Ags? Was that pretty awesome or what? I know that I've got a page full of notes here, and I was just so impressed with Grace and really how she's expanded her business while being a student. What was your biggest takeaways there, Greg?
Well, I think that's probably the thing that it was most remarkable to me. She's a business owner, and she's been a business owner for multiple years in undergrad and grad school, and she's still going to school. So she kind of mentioned it a little bit, but time management, I can only imagine what it's like having all of the challenges of going to university and also running a business, because she's dealing with, you know, big boy and big girl brands, not only in the collaboration, but with her clients that expect professionalism. And so her being able to say, hey, sorry, I'm a student, so I'll get to it when I get to it.
Right.
That doesn't work. And so she has got to focus and manage. And I bet you she blocks and tackles a whole lot in order to manage her time. But the fact, I mean, this is the second time today we've heard time management is critical to entrepreneurship. And I think it's probably double critical for someone who's trying to earn a master's degree while running the business. What about you?
Well, I 100% agree with you. I can't imagine trying to juggle all of that, you know, as a student and trying to do what she's doing. I'm just so impressed with her and how she's able to do that. And really what I'm most impressed with is that, you know, she's already found her niche. She's already figuring out who she works with best instead of just taking on anybody. You know, she's working towards a goal, which is great. And expanding her business that way. So I think that's really cool. And I'm 100% about the niching down, right? Quote unquote, because, you know, it just becomes a flywheel effect. You do it once and you know it works and you keep working that way towards that. So kudos to you, Grace, about, you know, doing that and, you know, really expanding your brand.
Well, Alex, that's going to do it for this episode of Aggie Growth Hacks. If you're not connected with Grace and her team, make sure that you connect with her and check out the great work that she does. If you're not connected with Chris or I or Aggie Growth Hacks, make sure that you connect with us. We'd love to get to know you. We'd love to hear your story and maybe share that on a future episode of Aggie Growth Hacks. While you're on the webs, make sure you go to aggiegrowthhacks.com where you can hear this episode as well as all of our other great episodes and content.
We want to give a huge shout out to our sponsor, the McFerrin Center for Entrepreneurship at Texas A&M University. Since 1999, the McFerrin Center for Entrepreneurship has served as the hub of entrepreneurship for Texas A&M. If you're an Aggie entrepreneur or even a wantrepreneur, head on over to their website right now to find a program that's right for you. Just go to aggiegrowthhacks.com/McFerrin. Well, Ags, join us next time when we connect with another great Aggie entrepreneur and learn how they hack their growth. Until then, I'm Chris Hunter.
And I'm Greg Martin. Thanks and gig 'em.